let's just pause for a second and let's take a collective deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. So let's start with a deep inhale in through the nose and let it out through the mouth. I learned from my friend who is an acupuncturist and heavily studies Chinese medicine that if you elongate your exhale longer than your inhale, so inhale for an amount of time, but however long your exhale should be longer, that helps to regulate your nervous system and bring you into balance. So always practice that now. And I've had an interesting last night that will go out in a vlog either right before or after this. I had an interesting experience that I will talk about because I feel like it should be talked about, but not today. Today we're going to talk about books. Welcome back to Ethereal and Elusive. I am. And today I am a bookworm again. I am really excited about this vlog. I'm excited about every book vlog that I record. So, I don't know. I really am a bibliophile. But before I get into the book haul, which is what this video will be about, I wanted to talk about the space that is now in my bookshelf. And actually the top shelf looks completely different, but you guys can't see it. It never really makes it into the video. But I just had this idea, this thing that's been on my mind that like it's my goal to get through my TBR, my unread books on my shelf, and to kind of purge as well, like as I'm reading, like if I like it, if I have to DNF it, like how do I feel about it? Do I want to give it up? Because I have a lot of books. And right now in the space that we're in, I only have 2 bookshelves and they're obviously overflowing with books. But I don't know, I also just really like the idea of giving books away and like having like an abundance of books to be able to take to a free library so people can have access to these books that are, in my opinion, overpriced but could still be a good story for them even if I didn't enjoy it. And there are some books that I'm giving up that it's like I did enjoy, but it doesn't stick with me enough to want to keep it on my shelf. Like an example of that actually is right behind me will be the Midnight Library. I think this is a really good concept as a book. I think that this book, the intention of it is golden. It's really amazing. But it didn't touch me the way that I know that it could touch somebody else. Like, it's a very touching book, and I feel like it's one of those books that you're supposed to read at a certain time in your life. And I was kind of around that time in my life. I was going through a hard time, but I don't know, I just felt like for me it was too long. Like I got the point of the book like 1/3 of the way in. Like pattern recognition is real, and I knew where the book was going, and to me it just took too long to get there. But this, I know this could really help somebody who, you know, it speaks their language, you know, and they want to take their time through the story. This book will literally help keep someone alive. And so I want to pass it on because it wasn't that profound to me, but I know that it has the potential to be really profound to someone who needs it. So I'm going to put it in a free library, which is where I got it from. I got this from a free library. So I'll continue to pass it on, and, you know, such is the way. That's how I kind of look at all things, is just like really cyclical. So like even clothes and stuff, like I'm constantly purging. I'm not one of those people that's like afraid to give things away, but I fear that I have found myself on a tangent. So let's get back to the point. The point is I removed all of the books that I have not read off of the shelf, off of these top 2 shelves. There are still books here that I have not read. This entire stack This entire stack of books I have not read. And they're really thickums. So I'm just trying not to think that far. So I'm just going shelf by shelf. At first I was like, I'm going to take all the books off that I haven't read. And then I realized there's a lot more than I thought. So I'm going shelf by shelf. So this shelf is full. Read them, loved them, want to keep them. This shelf, we have this little stack, working on it. And then behind me, I put it in a clip, is like the stacks of books that came off those two shelves that I have not read. And then over here are books that I either want to give away, and behind in the back you can't see your books that I'm on the fence about, which I made a video about. Like The Lamb is over there. Like I didn't finish it, I DNF'd it, but I do want to return to it and see if I really like the way the book ends. So without further ado, let's get to the book haul. So this is more than a book haul. I actually have 2 new tarot decks that I want to share with you guys as well. They were gifted to me serendipitously. I had no idea. The person who gave them to me surprised me with them. They belonged to her, and she wasn't really using them that much, and wanted to just give them to someone who would probably use them more. And so I gladly accepted. But I'm gonna say that to the end. That'll be some bonus content. Alright, so I have 2 stacks of books and 1 stack of tarot cards. So let's get to the first stack of books. The first stacks of books came from after my meditative hike that I co-facilitated. It was a beautiful experience. It was a really bonding experience for those who came out and participated. But one of the women on the hikes mentioned some events that were happening locally around town. And one of the events she mentioned was a used book sale at a brewery. And so I was like, I'm going to that immediately. I love book sales, especially used book sales. This was really greatly priced, but pricier than I expected from a used book sale, because once again, I'm used to going to Goodwill and getting like a hardback book for $2.50, which I think is appropriate for a used book. But the hardbacks are $5, but that's okay. That's still a really good price when these hardbacks are usually like $30, right? So it was a good time. I had a good time. I went straight after the trail. I smelled like a trail, but I was vibing. And they had it set up in like different sections. And most of my books I got from the horror section, and then one I got from young adult. Even though I've been trying to stray away from reading young adult books, because I don't know, I like reading about adults. I don't know. It's hard to really put into words, but like the content is different. When it's young adult, it's sometimes, even though they talk about really hard topics, like young adult books, do not sleep on them. They're really, really good, especially fantasy, like, and they do talk about hard topics. But I feel like but they're also aware that their audience could be like younger, and so there are things that are filtered even when the story is about people who are like of legal age. So that's why I kind of I'm trying to stray away from that and read more about adults. So it's not that like filter on it, like I like raw truth, the ugliness, the nitty gritty, those types of things. And the intimacy part of it is not, for me, it's not a big focal point of the story, but I do feel like I do like well written intimate scenes. Anyways, another tangent. Let's get to the books that I found. So the first book that I'll talk about, which is the only book in the stack that I read this immediately after I got it. It's called The Woods All Black by Lee Mandello. And apparently Lee is known for writing queer horror, southern gothic, oh my gosh, queer horror type stuff. This is a short book. It's just over 100 pages. Really short. It's really, how do I put this book into words? I don't know. I don't even know what I rated it on my reading app. I'll say this. It's also an Appalachian horror, which, so finding this book was really cool for me because one, it's Pride Month, and and also I have never been disappointed by queer horror. I've only read a handful of them and they have never disappointed me. And also I needed something that I could really sink my teeth into and I could finish. And I can get through. So it was good that I found a short horror story. I think I mentioned that in one of the reading vlogs before. Like, I want to get more shorter novellas as palate cleansers, especially if I'm having a hard time finishing books or finding something that I can really get into. These just like I can write out any story for 100 pages to see where it goes. So this was really interesting in that it read like a Western almost. I won't lie, like the beginning, the first 75% of the book was slow, but it was this build up. It wasn't slow in that nothing was happening. Things were happening. It's just that we didn't know why things were happening. And then the end was something I did not expect. Like I said, I like to go into books blind. I'm not even sure if I read the cover, the inside flap about what this book was about. But I'll say this. When I went to go add it to my currently reading list on Fable, it'll have like taglines of like labels for that book, of what that book will be considered. And the tagline under the book was spicy. And I was confused because I'm like, this is a horror book. I had already started reading it. I'm like, I don't even see how you could set up a sex scene the way that the book is going. But it's definitely spicy. It's definitely it definitely explores what might be a kink to some people, like a very specific kink. And I do not kink shame. I was a sex educator for 10 years of my life. I have no problem talking about sex or reading about sex. I guess my surprise was that I didn't even know sex was going to happen. And I definitely did not guess how it was going to happen. It was really interesting. It was really interesting. And then you add the queerness of it all. It was really interesting. It was really interesting. I think I'm still processing it. I think I'm still processing it. But it was a really good book. Really good short story. And I finished it. So I was able to put it on my shelf. Because I do want to keep it. So the next book that I found at that book sale is called The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. And I have like I said, I like to go into books blind. So I'm basically going to tell you, I don't have any idea what any of these books is about. I judged it based on the cover. I judged it based on how it feels. And for this book in particular, I saw that there was a black boy on the cover, that it was written by a black author, and that's all you had to tell me. And so I picked it up. And it's giving horror. It's giving spook. It's giving, it's giving all of the things of YA horror. So you didn't have to tell me anything else. So I don't know what it's about. I think that I do know that the main character, Jake, is a medium and he can see ghosts. And I started reading the beginning of it before I switched to the short story. I think that he can see like how people pass, like how that ghost passed away, and maybe like they're stuck on a loop or something. But I really don't know. How he gets taken, who takes him. Probably a ghost would be my guess. I don't know, but I'm excited to read it. And then the next one I got is Boy Snowbird. Boy Snowbird by Helen Oyeyemi, who is also a black author. Like I said, that's literally all you gotta tell me. But I didn't know that actually when I picked up the book. I picked up the book because it just seemed like a really interesting horror book. It just like, and the cover is really cute. I also like, the bibliophile in me loves that I can tell it was a library book. You can tell like from the clear coating they put around the cover. I love getting used library books. I don't know, it's just like really nostalgic for me. The pages smell like they were in a library. And when I went to go check out the books, the woman checking me out said that she's read a lot of Helen's book, and she owns a lot of Helen's book, and basically that this author rewrites classic fairy tales with a dark twist. And so in this one, when I was reading the inside cover, it did go over like the wicked stepmother archetype. Is gonna be in the book, but it's gonna have like this twist to it. And other than that, yeah, I'm going in blind. Like I said, that's how I like to do my books. So Boy Snowbird. And then I picked up Bad Love by Jonathan Kellerman. Now this one I was hesitant to pick up because it's thick. It is thick. This book is really thick. Not only is it thick, the words are super small. Like, what am I, a child? Yes, I am. I need something that I can easily digest. But this book might be one of those books where it takes me a whole month to finish it. I will not lie. But it was something about it that made me like, I feel like I might actually really like this. I was also hesitant because there was more books by this author, and the other books really gave just like thriller detective vibes. And I like thrillers. I don't like detective novels. I have never been interested in them. I won't say I don't like them. I haven't read them because I've never had an interest. I know there's lots of series out there, but they're just not for me. They don't pique my interest. And so this kind of gives that the main character, I think the main character is a detective. It's giving like haunting. It's giving spooky vibes. It's giving paranormal vibes. It's giving all of the vibes. And so I'm interested to see where this goes. Like, it looks like it could be really, really good. And really on the edge of my seat. So I'm interested to see where this goes. And then the final book I got from that book sale is my very first Stephen King novel. It's called Full Dark, No Stars. I'm sorry, it's not a novel. It's actually a set of short stories. And as you can tell from the title, Full Dark, No Stars, they're really dark. They're really dark stories. Really depressing. Really. But also, I had no idea this is what Stephen King looked like. No idea. Let's bring back putting authors on the back cover. Because how vintage is this? How vintage is that? To take up the whole back cover just for your picture. I don't know. I also didn't know what he looked like. But this is pretty much what I guess. Like, a nerdy guy with glasses. I mean, to have that much time to write this many books, like, it's crazy. There's also like, somebody left a thing in here for a bookmark, which is really interesting. I love seeing those quirks of like people, the person who read this before me. I don't know, it just tells a story. So anyways, series of short stories that are all supposed to be dark. I am excited to read Stephen King and to see what all of the hype is about. And I really hope, and I kind of feel like I'm gonna get it. Like, okay, this is why Stephen King is so popular, because he's really good. I hope that's my experience anyways, but you know me, I really do not be falling for the hyped up authors and books. So anyways, so the next set of books I have are from the Dollar Tree. I went into the Dollar Tree and I didn't expect to find any books because this is a Dollar Tree that I frequent often, and you know, it's not often that they refresh their shelves. So I didn't expect to find any books, but I did end up finding some interesting looking books. And the first one is White Horse by Erica T. Worth. White Horse. And what is this book about? I don't know. So what made me That's gonna be my answer to all of those. But what made me pick this up is that it's written by a Native American, a person of Native American descent, and the main character in the book is a Native American descent, and that was enough for me. I'm rooting for not just everyone black, but everyone of color, and that will always be the case. So I was like, okay, and it's giving like eerily silent. It's giving that it's gonna be spooky. It's giving that there's gonna be some paranormal, spiritual things going on. So I'm excited about that. Then we have The Other Me by Sarah Zakrick Jing, is my guess to the pronunciation of this name. In this book, the main character basically like wakes up in a parallel universe. Like they wake up in their same life, but everything is completely different. But there are like holes, like glitches in the matrix of like that kind of hint back towards the life that she really knew. And so yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting, and apparently like her spouse has something to do with it. So I thought that this would be really interesting ride. I love anything that's like psychological. And then we have Seeing Me Forgotten by Jessica S. Olsen. And this book has all of the things. It has magic. It looks like it might have a little bit of a romance. And it's psychological because her powers is to play with people's memories. But not once again, but it is like a common theme of like someone who's different and unique and special, society hates them. And so the main character is in a situation where she is being forced to do labor, so that she is not reported to authorities. And so long story short, she finds a way to kind of break out of that prison that has been created for her. So this should be interesting as well. So all interesting reads. I do have an ever-growing TBR that you guys cannot see behind me. It's literally 3 stacks of books. And I just bought more books. But at the Dollar Tree, these were all obviously $1.25 each. At the book sale, this was $1. But the hardcovers I got were $5 each. So that's the most I've ever spent on used books, because that ended up being like $21. But that was a lot. Like I got 5 books for $21. That's crazy when one of those books would have cost $30. So those are my books. Next I'm gonna talk about my tarot decks. Okay, so I'm really excited. They're not really themed or anything, but I'm just walking in gratitude to receive these. I really love all of my decks. For those of you who might be new to the channel, I do spiritual readings. I use both tarot and oracle decks, and I also channel messages from people's spirit teams. It's pretty much my method. And just as much as I love collecting books, I also really love collecting decks. But decks are expensive. You don't really it's really not a thing to buy used decks. I mean, it is like there is a store around me who sells them used, slightly used, but that's like they really have to call to me, and because I have so many decks, I have a really large collection of decks. Not as many books as I have, but I do have a large collection of decks, and I use all of them. But I've become a lot more discerning on like what decks I'll buy, because it's like I have so many. I don't want to like just continue to collect decks, because the more decks I get, the less I'll use each of them. You know what I mean? So anyways, long story short, so to be gifted with 2 decks at one time was just a surprise and a blessing. It came on during a day where I was having a really rough day, and then I was just surprised with these decks, and so I'm really grateful for that. And so the first deck that I'll show you guys that she gifted me with is the Smith Waite Tarot deck, and it's a pocket size, so you can see the comparison to my hand, how small the cards are. And so I like that they're not mini, because I've seen like the mini decks, and I'm like, I couldn't really do anything with those. But then she gave me this one, which is still mini, but it's not like terribly small. So I'm like, this will be the perfect deck for me to take to like vendor markets or certain things where I am doing readings for the public, and they're not like super big, they don't take up a lot of space, and I still feel really good to shuffle them. So another thing that I really look for in decks is like, how easily can I shuffle them? How do they feel together? Like, I don't always pull cards this way, how some readers do. Sometimes I'll just simply pull out the top. It's whatever I'm feeling, but it does feel really nice to have a deck that's like that. Oh, look. What just fell out? The Emperor. Moving your power. But yeah, so I'm really excited. It's pretty much like a traditional tarot deck in the pictures. Nothing really unique about the pictures, except, and perhaps I have to read the booklet or ask her about it. I found these 2 cards within the deck when I was like shuffling and cleansing them before I started using them for myself, that do not have numbers on them, and they also do not have words. And at first I was like, for this one, I was like, oh, maybe this is just a unique version of the Lover's card. But no, the Lover's card is in the deck. So I don't know what these bonus cards are or what they mean, but it's really cool. I like when decks come with bonus cards. I just have to read to see what they could mean. So that is the deck. It's really cute. That's what the back side looks like. That's what the front side looks like. It feels really good in my hands. And then it has this tin case, which is really good because with the paper cases, they're just really easy to tear up. So that's that one. And then the second deck I have is just called the Traditional Tarot. It came in this box, and she was like, the woman who gave them to me was like, I didn't even open this because I knew that I wasn't really going to work with it. So literally they're still in the plastic. So why don't we open them together? Let's do it. Let's open them together. Let's open them together. I can get them open. Oh my gosh, it's plastic. Okay, that was not. Okay. Thank you for this deck. Bless this deck. Let your Holy Spirit cleanse this deck. May it be used to reveal truth and clarity for those who need it, for myself. May it hold the energy that is needed. Okay, so literally this is just the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, which is the most common one. And that's exactly what the imagery looks like. It looks like a traditional imagery. So it looks very similar to this one, just a different filter over the pictures. But it's bigger. And I think that's cute. And who knows, I might actually, as I was opening these, I might use these for my picker cards, because I sell like an envelope with a random tarot card in it. It's $1 because you're just getting like one card in there, and I'm not really telling you what the meaning. You sit with it for yourself and see what it means and look it up and work with it on your own. And because this is just the traditional tarot deck, I might just do that. Like that's just the idea that came to me as I was opening them. So we'll see if that's something that I'm actually being prompted to do. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see how it shuffles. Hold up, let me see. Okay, it shuffles pretty good. Let's see. Oh jeez. Okay, it does shuffle really good. And guess what card flipped over? The Wheel of Fortune. So good vibes on this deck. I do like the good vibes. So that is my haul. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, if you want books, definitely check out the local thrift stores. Check out Dollar Tree book section. They do have some gems in there sometimes, depending on which one you go to. Book sales, like, yes, it's really good to support an author. I am an author myself, and so it's really good to support the author and buy new. But it's also about accessibility. And so if your budget is one where it would serve you better to get discounted books, then please look into those avenues, because they are out there and you can still have a pop-in library without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, no, that's not necessary. And yeah, also with tarot decks now, they gonna cost some money, or you can be gifted with them. Manifest somebody gifting you them. This has literally never happened to me though, so it's the first time. I'm really grateful. Anyways, I hope that y'all are well. I hope that y'all are ethereal. I hope that y'all are staying elusive. I hope that y'all are living y'all best life, and above all else, I hope that y'all are blessed. Until next time.